Hey guys, if you guys have been looking for a bright and colorful journaler, this is the channel. I have tons of videos with bright colored pages and all kinds of different journals, travel journals, memory journals, daily journals, even a whole bunch of different kinds. And if you guys want to see some bright colorful journals, this is definitely the channel. This is a handmade traveler's notebook insert that I made with copy paper and some cardstock for the cover, and then I just colored it all over, all different kinds of colors, and I absolutely love this. This is my second memory journal, and I keep these just for random memories, and I use this for my photos. I needed a place to put all my developed photos that I had developed over the years, and I'm sure if you guys have some, this is definitely a great idea for you guys. So this way I don't have any pressure. I can just put any random memory in, and I'm kind of going through all my photos, which is so nice because I developed so many. I have like 3 or 4 boxes, photo boxes full of photos. So this is a perfect way to get rid of a lot of your photos, and you can add as little or as many per page as you want. And I just love this idea, and I really do hope that it inspires you to create one as well. It's perfect for that. Honestly, I've loved creating in this, and I keep it very simple. I add some fun colors to the background, and then I add any memory I want. I just flip through the photos and kind of go from there. So today we're going to do one of those pages, and I hope you join me for the whole video, and I'll kind of chat you through what I'm thinking and what I'm going through as I'm journaling. I always just go to the next blank page. I don't flip through the journal and just kind of grab one that I like. I just go in order, and I just went to the next blank page, and then this entire journal already has a bunch of color on all the pages. So I just, once I got to the blank page, I knew I wanted to already color the background. I prefer to have all the colors on the page, and I like to color the entire pages in. So this journal is fairly small, but I wanted to go with my favorite color combo, which is neon pink and neon orange. And this is just acrylic paint that I got at the dollar store. It's super transparent. It looks so good in my journals. I have a ton of videos, which I'll link a few of my favorite ones in the iCard above, and just so you can kind of see what my journaling style is like. And then I'm just going to kind of go from there. The little glass jar I got at a flea market, which just says swamp water, which is absolutely the cutest thing. I always use it for my paint water. And you know, when you're a painter, you get some really not so pretty watercolors. So this little jar is so perfect for it. I wish they had 2 so I could have one for dark or warm colors and one for cool colors, but they only had 1, and so I'm lucky enough to have that. So and then my little glass palette there for my paint is actually a lid for a made in Canada mason jar. They are so perfect. They're not plastic, which is amazing. So I have bought a whole bunch of them, and I use them for my journaling and my ink. Anytime I paint with ink or draw with ink, I use these lids, and they honestly worked out so perfect. They clean so well, and I definitely recommend them. I think I bought them all in the area I live, so you might have to go elsewhere, but I love them, and they have worked out so well. And then the reason I chose pink and orange is, well, they're my favorite color combos, but also the pink really goes well with blue. It kind of creates this purpley look, which is really nice. And then the reds in the page before I started painting it, the orange will look really good with that as well. So yeah, so that's the reason why I chose the colors I went with. Actually, I think I bought this paint at Michael's. And honestly, I just buy the cheapest stuff I can find for my journaling. I really don't like to spend too much money on my acrylic paints for my journals. I do paint actually quite often on a regular basis, and I use expensive stuff for that. But for my journals, I just use whatever's inexpensive. I'm painting in my journal, I always try to grab a scrap piece of paper just to place in between the pages so that the colors don't go on to the next page behind it or previous page as well. It just keeps it a little bit cleaner, and it's so fun. Like, I love using the scrap papers after for like backgrounds or things like that. So they're perfect, and they're super fun, and it keeps your pages nice and clean. if I have too much paint in my little palette, I also will put that extra paint on that scrap piece of paper just so that I don't waste my paint. Even though it's really inexpensive, I still try to save as much as possible, and I can always use those pages at a later date as well. You definitely don't need to add as much color to your pages as I am. I just really like all the colors, and I really like having the entire page covered, but you really don't need to have as much, and you definitely don't need to have such bright colors as I do. I just really like them. When I first started journaling, I couldn't find anyone who was really journaling the way I wanted to journal, so I didn't have much inspiration I could pull from. And so I just kind of figured I would just do whatever I want, and that's how I started, and I absolutely love it. I don't see anyone else journaling quite like this, which is kind of cool. I hope it does help you guys to find your style as well. And I do actually have a whole bunch of videos actually in my passport journal, which are way neutral toned and layers and things like that. More scrapbooking style, if you will. But I really like this style, and for this journal, it's the memory journal, so I'm just keeping it very random and just adding a few pages, a little quote maybe here and there, a little bit of journaling, and then stickers or ephemera as well, but very minimal compared to the other journals. So this is just perfect for this style. So every journal I do is very different from one to the other, and I really love this. It's been so helpful for all my photos. So there's actually a stack of them right there. I haven't chosen the photo that I was gonna go with so far yet, so I saw the one of all my little nieces and nephews when they were very little, and so I thought that would be really fun because they're all wearing bright colors and they're all eating one of those big candies that have all the colors on it. So that photo was so perfect. I always try to choose a photo that matches the background, and I think it looks so good once you have a photo that kind of matches the background, so it's always just fun. And I really don't plan any of my pages. I always try to just keep it really stress-free and enjoyable and just kind of go with the flow. Since I already have so much color on my background, I thought I would go for more of a lighter ephemera piece on the top, and I remembered I had some of these white butterfly die cuts, which I absolutely love, and I bought these at the dollar store, and the gold popping through looks so pretty, and honestly the white looks awesome against the neon colors, so perfect choice for these. And I'm just gonna play with a bunch of different layouts and just kind of see whichever butterflies I think look the best. And again, I really don't plan, I kind of just go with the flow, which is the best way to journal for me. I was thinking to try to cover some of that orange and green, and then there's so many duplicates of the butterflies. I wasn't sure which one I wanted, but just keep playing if you're stuck and just kind of go with the flow. Try all different kinds of layouts, and you'll be surprised at how quickly you can actually put a page together. Since these die cuts aren't exactly cut perfectly, I'm just going to take my scissors and just cut along a little bit of the edge just to get rid of some of the extra white. I love using white borders on my photos, but on the little butterfly it was a little too white, so I'm just going to try to cut off the edges around it. So now that I have a good idea of what I want for my layout, I'm very happy that I was able to cover the orange and green a little bit, and I really like that the big butterfly is going to go on both of the pages. So there's no precise measurements required. I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to use my nail to make little indents on the top of the butterfly and one on the bottom one as well, just as a guide for when I cut it on an angle. And then before I glue it, I'm just going to try to make sure that I have it very straight and that the book can open nice and easy. I'm very happy with that cut on the butterfly, and then I'm just going to start gluing it with my double-sided glue, which I actually also got at the dollar store, and it's one of my favorites. It's definitely a must-have for all my journaling. Try not to glue any of your photos or journal ephemera too close to the center of your journal. You're definitely going to get a couple of things that will bend or it won't open and close very well. So I learned this a couple of times where I had a photo like a little bit too close to the center, so then it bent a little bit and it doesn't close or sit very nicely now. So definitely recommend just being careful when you start gluing your things down into your journal. And don't worry if you make a mistake. Sometimes you can lift whatever you've glued already on, or sometimes you can just cover it. Try not to get overwhelmed. If you do make a little mistake, it's totally okay. It's all part of the process. And here I actually glued the top or the second part of the butterfly on an angle, and I couldn't have it, so I had to peel it off, and I was very scared that I was actually going to rip the page, but it didn't, so I was very happy about that. But if it did, I would find a way to try to cover it as well. I think that's why I love creative journaling so much, because anytime you make a little bit of a mistake, you can always find another creative way to cover it or add a little bit of something to your journal. So it's all so much fun, and I really, really love journaling. So I hope that you guys are also finding new ways to create in your journals as well. And let me know in the comments down below what kind of journals you keep. Do you keep a memory journal? Do you keep a traveler's notebook, or just a daily journal even? And then also I want to know if you guys do creative journaling, or do you just write in your journals and add a couple things here and there? So here I'm just thinking that the page just needs a little bit of something else, and I think I'm gonna add a border to the photo. And I love that look, especially if you have colorful backgrounds. It looks so good when the photo just pops out. And I'm thinking I might make it as a tip-in, and we'll go from there. So again, I'm just gonna use my nail to make a little indent on the white copy paper to make a border. I'm gonna keep it super simple. I don't want any precise measurements. I don't really care about having everything too perfect. I'm just gonna go with the flow like I always do and kind of go from there, and then we'll see what it looks like once the border is made. So now that the photo is on the border paper, it definitely looks much better, and I think it's what the page needed. And since I'm actually going to make it into a little tip-in, I'm going to play around with some layouts and some ideas for behind the tip-in as well. Behind the tip-in was a little bit too white, so I'm going to actually paint it to match the rest of the page. And so I'm just going to grab a little bit more of my acrylic paint and create a little bit of a splash of color behind the tip-in, and then it'll look a lot better with a little bit of the butterflies as well. If you don't have any die cuts or journal ephemera, you can always try to draw something or stamp something onto a thicker piece of paper and then just cut it out after and glue it in. That's another great idea for you to kind of get some nice fun elements into your journal pages, and it also keeps it more creative because you're drawing something, which I'm a total fan of. I love drawing, so yeah, there's totally another idea for you. That little tip-in looks so cute. I'm very, very happy with the splash of color. It makes the whole page just pop a little bit more, and then the cute little butterflies behind are always so nice. And anytime I have anything that is a little bit sticky, I use a different pair of scissors with that, so that I have like a sticky scissor and then I have a regular scissors, so that I don't mix the two of them up, because if you're cutting photos or anything that has a little bit of stickiness on the scissors, then it'll just kind of transfer over to your photo or the ephemera. So I always try to keep two scissors right near me while I'm journaling. I'm so happy with this page. I love the colors. Pink and orange are definitely my favorite combo, and they honestly look so cute with the white and gold butterflies, and then that little tip in is just too cute. So I'm gonna actually start to journal over the background, and how I always go over my acrylic paint backgrounds is just by using a ballpoint pen. These are very inexpensive and they actually write quite well over any acrylics or watercolor paints. And just to keep my lines super straight, I'm going to use a little ruler, and then I'm just going to write above the ruler to keep it really straight. And I always prefer to use cursive writing in all my journals. I think the look is so beautiful and I just love it. I learned how to cursive write in elementary school. I think that they don't teach it in school any longer, but I think it's honestly such a beautiful way of writing, and it just looks so nice, and every person's writing is so different. When you use a ruler, you do have to go back and fix your F's and your Y's and all the ones that drop down, but I have no problem doing that. Sometimes you forget, but it's part of the process, so I don't really mind, but I like the look of a straight line for sure. I do some freehand writing in my journals often as well, but for this one I wanted to keep it nice and straight just to finish it off. I really do like how it looks. For the journaling, I didn't want to go right from one end of the page all the way to the other end either. I wanted to keep it very sporadic and very like uneven, just to kind of give it that finished look, which I love that look, so it's perfect for me and it really works. I've done this for a bunch of my journal pages, and the only thing I do wish that I would have done is I would have added white journaling over the darker colors of the background, like the darker blue and the darker purple, but I totally didn't do it. So I think I might go back and actually do that later, because I think it looks super cool when you do that. So yeah, I love how this looks so far. I'm curious, do you guys ever go back onto your journal pages and fix things or add things once you've already journaled in them? Or do you guys just kind of leave it and kind of move on to the next page? I generally don't go back and fix or add anything to my pages. Once they're done, and I'm moving on. I think I did add a couple things to 2 pages that I can remember in a memory journal, but very rarely do I go back. Once they're done, and I kind of just move on. See, there you can actually see that you can't even read the writing over the darker colors. So I think for this journal page, I will go back. I'll probably post it on my Instagram, but for now I'll just keep it and I'll just keep journaling. Oh, I love this page so much. Here's a little close-up of all the cute little butterflies and the colors, and tell me what you think. My favorite part for sure is the pink and orange paint. I love those 2 colors together. And then of course that cute little photo of my nieces and nephews. It is such a good memory, and I really do hope you've started your own memory journal. I definitely recommend one, and if you have, please let me know what kind of memory journal you're keeping. Are you keeping one for your nieces and nephews, for your siblings, for yourself, for your family? I'd love to know, and I would also love to know what kind of journal you're using. And I really do hope that I've given you some inspiration or some ideas for your journaling style, as well as just something to listen to while you're journaling. Here's another one of my favorite journaling videos. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!